Hello.
Don't say anything. No.
Oh, no, just okay.
Well, you're not going to see anything. I have to get on. Just relax. Just. It's really man. Oops. Minute Man! Minute Man, you and I are going to chat. I've been too busy this week to be we're out. But we're going to have to do a, he sent me this new setup, not like Skype or something else. We got to do one of those things. What did you say? Okay, hi, Wendy. Minute Man, you and I chat. I got the directions. I'll let you know. He plays those games. Okay. Hi, Wendy. I don't see her. Anyway, hi, Trucking It Up. Hi, Trucking It Up. Trucking It Up. We're gonna wait just a few minutes. My husband has all kinds of information for you, and I'm gonna let him go for it. Well, there she is. But I don't know how to say your first name. Renee. I think that's it. How can you retract a Minute Man? How can you retract a message? How you don't have? I'll discuss it with him. Good, Renee. I'm glad you feel that way. How y'all doing? Simply. Oh, a few more people. 6, yeah. Just a few more. Hi. Look, guys. Whee. Wait a minute. Okay. Happy birthday, Nicole. Nicole, did you get the 2 Facebook posts I sent you? I hope so. I hope she did. We were laughing. We were just laughing. Good, she got them. Good. They're awesome, aren't they? Okay. Yeah, we're doing good, Trucking It Up. I think he's new. Let me see here. Am I subscribed to him? Are we subscribed to him? Yeah, we're subscribed to you, Trucking It Up. Okay. Yes, I did. Thank you, Bee. Love me. I know. I was Nicole, I was telling Mark she loves everything Star Wars. So, you know, she'd like it. I like that one with Yoda. That was cool. That was really cool. Yeah. Oh, thumbs up. Maybe I'll hit it over here. Y'all, I have heat stroke. I think I have heat stroke. It's hot. Let's see. A lot of green. A lot of green. So, as having the crown, if I have issues here tonight, which I mean, there's so many people streaming now, it's a riot. But if I do have issues, I can just handle that myself. Somebody tell me yes, or somebody tell me no. I think I can. Okay. I don't. I'll ask.
You got 7.
Okay, 7 sounds good. Okay, hold on.
Hold on, what?
Okay.
You want me to start or not?
What do you want to do? Yeah, we're going to start.
Might
We
as
can
well
start. We might as well
because it's 5
start.
minutes in.
Oh, thank you, Nicole.
Don't know what's this time.
No, we don't want to waste your time. Okay.
Okay, good evening. From the Bee Lady Apiary. Some interesting facts about bees. There are 20,000 different species of bees in the world, one of which is honeybees, of course. And about 1/3 of the food we eat requires pollination. Some kind of pollinator, which it doesn't have to be a honeybee. It can be a moth or a bumblebee or something else. The decline of bees in recent years has led the U.S. government to create the Pollinator Health Task Force in 2014. They published a report called the National Strategy to Promote the Health of Honeybees and Pollinators. You can Google it. And there was a lot of concern about pollinators in the country. California accounts for the majority of the world's almonds. They need 1.7 million hives to pollinate the almonds each year. This represents 85% of the hives in the United States. In other words, they don't have enough. So expect almond prices to continue to rise. This is not a Wall Street report. It's just my opinion. By the way, the 1.7 million hives represents 80 billion bees. That's with a B. Homesteaders especially benefit from the power of bees. Orchard yields can grow easily 20 to 30% if you have a beehive or two in the vicinity, which would be preferably within 2 miles. There are some reports that yields have been increased by 50 to 70%, but I don't see that in more than one spot. Something about bees themselves. Bees' antennas feature something called mechanoreceptors, or sense of touch. Recently, scientists have learned that the antennas have the sense of hearing, that bees can hear. They thought for years, decades, that bees could not hear, but they have found that the antennas respond to movement of molecules based on the way they move by sound in the air. Antennas also have odor receptors, 170 on each antenna. So they can smell with their antennas. They also use antennas to communicate with other bees. So they can use their antennas for a sense of touch, hearing, and smell. They're really amazing insects. They have 3 pairs of legs, but they're not typical legs. Each leg has 6 segments, so they have incredible flexibility. In other words, they can do yoga moves that any of you out there that do yoga can't do. They have taste receptors on the tips of their legs, so they can taste with their feet. They also have claws for gripping and sticky pads on the bottom of their feet to help them grab slick surfaces. So each part of the bee has multiple features that enable them to be, I can't think of the word, very adaptive to the environment. They can do a lot of things. Okay, I wanted to do a little bit of show and tell. Let's see how this works. Last week,
Okay.
Last week, I showed you frames and how they would fit in a box. This is a super, which is smaller than a deep box. So this is the frame that goes in a super. This is the frame that goes in a deep. So you can tell the difference. The deep will hang out the bottom. That's the difference in height. So a deep is what it says, deeper, and that's where the brood are. So you have this really big frame. And the supers, which are used for honey, are smaller so that you can deal with them easier, because when a frame is filled with honey, it gets pretty heavy. So I wanted to show you some tools that beekeepers use. These are hive tools. Hive tool, it has sharp edges here and here, and it has a hook on the end. It also has something if you want to pull nails. So the way this works is if when you're going in a hive, you have this frame. You'll see the little nub on the end here that sticks out. That's what rests on the ledge. So when you're working a hive, of course, it's hot. You're in a bee suit usually. There's lots of bees flying. You've got weight. So what you do is you stick. I'll do it where I think you can see it better. You stick your hive tool in here. You can move it, and it goes under this nub, and you can pry up. It gives you a lot of leverage. So you can pry up a frame that weighs even 7, 8 pounds if you have to. So these are really handy. The sharp end here you can use to pry up when you have boxes stacked on top of each other, which you do all the time. The bees cement them together with propolis, which is like a glue. We talked about it before, but we can make it a subject for another time. So you've got, especially in the summer when it's hot, this propolis is super sticky. In fact, once you get it on your clothes, you really have a permanent stain. So what you do is you stick this sharp edge in between the boxes and start prying. And you sometimes have to pry on 2 or 3, maybe 4 corners, depending on the weight of the hive and how much propolis, time of year, and all that, to get the box loose so you can pick it up to inspect the next box. Okay, and there's different types of hive tools. You can see this one has a more a thinner hook on the end. This one's kind of fancy. It has let me get back a little. You can see it's a sharp hook on this end with another prior. So there's different kinds, but they're all accomplishing the same thing. This is a queen excluder that we talked about last week. You put this on top of the boxes. What you see all this mess on here is comb. It's where the bees, whenever they see something that it's a space that needs to be filled, they start building honeycomb. The queen excluder does just what it says. You put it on top of one box if you want to exclude the queen from going to the next box. Every other size bee can get through this. The queen cannot because she is significantly bigger and fatter. So we don't use these too much, but right now, for example, I'm using these to exclude the queen from boxes that I want to remove off the hive to make the hive lighter. It's just a personal thing. So you can use these. They make them in plastic and metal. Some people like the plastic. We like the metal, even though it can bow a little, but it's worked for us. This is a bee brush. Everybody has brushes in their house. This is very soft, and when you're trying to get bees off comb, if you want to look at it, you want to see what's going on, and there's too many bees, you can brush them. Sometimes they're in the way when you're trying to manipulate frames and so on. You can brush them off with this. Bees can get stuck in these though, so some people use feathers, which are supposed to be better. I do not yet have a big feather to use, but they say feathers are better because bees don't like and get caught in this with their legs have all kinds of, because of the segments, and once they get caught in here, they get upset. They don't like it. This is a smoker. All the grass in the top is because I was out there today. The grass stops the smoker. It stops the burn so you can use the fuel that you didn't use again. So the smoker has your pump here. You're pumping air into the smoker in the bottom. Right down here, there's a little chamber. So you're pumping air directly into the bottom. There's a small couple of inches at the bottom of the smoker that it has a little plate above it with holes in it so that the air, it can maintain a little air chamber. And you put your fuel above it, you light it, there's a whole procedure you go through. And you pack it in, you get this smoking, and if you want to, when you want to smoke the bees, you just push the bellows here, and smoke comes out the top, and the bees get smoked, and they become a little easier to work with, a little more docile, and it hides the pheromones, any alarm pheromones, and so on. So that's the show and tell segment. Actually, that's all I had. I went through that faster.
Yeah, you sure did. This Chile expat family, they had in a hive 2 queens, put a queen excluder in it. Mm-hmm. So Chile expat family. So you had a lower hive, with the queen and the brood and the workers and all of that. Then you had a queen excluder, and you put another queen on top with a deep with worker bees, and you had like 2 different hives with just a queen excluder in between. Could you?
Is this a question or?
Well, this is what they're saying they did. They're in.
You can do that.
You can.
20 to 30% of hives, which I have not seen it yet, have 2 queens in them in the spring. Whoa. I thought it was rarer than that, but recent reading has led me to believe that that's the case. So yeah, if you see 2 queens, you can actually start a split on your hive by separating them. I think that's what you're doing.
Yeah. I hope I'm saying their name right. Chile expat. Do we use queen pheromone? Yes.
Absolutely.
I have to get over here. This is my big thing, because what happened to us is when we were new to beekeeping, you go down and you hope to find the queen. So we had brood. We thought everything was fine, but we found out we either killed the queen by stepping on her during a hive check, which can happen, in the beginning, and or she flew out, or we don't know what happened to her. But we ended up with laying workers, which is a terrible, terrible thing. I don't know if you ever had that, but if you did, it's awful. There's almost, to me, there's no way to salvage a hive with laying workers. Okay. So now they have the pheromone strips that if you notice you're missing a queen and there's no brood, you put those in there until you can get a queen going. That's the only time we use them.
Right. That's when we use them.
Yeah.
But I don't think you need them in that circumstance.
When did you use the pheromones for what? I'm curious. I'm wondering. Oh, his name is Jim. It's very interesting. Now, do you have? He's in South America, the South.
South America. It's winter down there.
Yeah. Well,
or fall.
Yeah, but they have hot weather. Is it? I'm assuming it's hot. They have. He said they have. They have. I think he said nosema going up. They have the wax moths, which are very prevalent in hot temperatures. A lot of the things that we would typically have that we would get up here, we don't have because we have winter. We have to pack our bees up. We have winter, and everything freezes, so it kills everything. So we don't have to worry about that. They'll tell you if you have an infestation of something in your hives, like wax moths or something. Once you get them off, okay, wait a minute, you're supposed to freeze your hives, kill it. We used to have little vials.
Freeze your frames, not the hives.
They said we used to have little vials before they left the U.S. We don't have them here in Chile. I use them in South Carolina. Yeah. Little vials of queen.
Little vials. Oh, okay.
You can get them from what is that bee store we get them from online?
It's either Man Lake or Better Bee.
Better Bee online. I believe they'll ship over there.
I think they'll ship anywhere.
Yeah, I think they'll ship anywhere or anywhere. As long as you pay them. Well, I'm curious. Why would you use the pheromone? Oh, it's winter.
Well, it's
fall. So it's what? They're just north of Antarctica, honey. What country, Jim?
So they're far
country
south.
are you in?
So they're not that.
What country is just north
Peru.
of Peru? We do not get that cold, just in the low 40s to low 35.
It could be.
Wow.
Must be Peru or something like that.
But you are an active beekeeper, I'm hoping. It's very interesting about, yes, vial of queen pheromone. What do you do with the pheromone? I mean, if you have a queen in your hive, is this when your queen dies or leaves, or a vial of queen? I don't know. This is somebody new. Hi. I never heard. I mean, I would like to know. We cannot get shipped. Why they won't ship it? They won't ship it there. Get out. That's bad. One thing I wanted my husband to tell you, I was writing up some notes too, is about I call them the singing queens. Oops, a daisy. The singing queens, the queen singing.
Piping,
yeah. He can explain that. I can explain it. Who do you want to explain it? Yes, I am active. My hives are all dead. What? Oh, I'm so sorry. Their hives are all dead. What happened? Ooh, part-time pennies. Hi, part-time pennies. Chile and Argentina are at their southernmost are not far from Antarctica. Oh my goodness gracious.
Argentina.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if we could get someone. I can't say it on here. I'll message you. I can't say the wrong thing on here. Okay, you get me though. If I can help you, I will, but I can't say things like that on here. So you're going to start up your hives in the spring. What exactly? I'm just curious. How hot does it get there? Like when you're running your hives in the summer, what is your average temperature? I'm wondering if that could be it. And did you have a source of water for them? Because like ours are right on our pond, and our pond is almost an acre. You have to have you have to have a source of water. Never tried it. It's expensive. Drunkenor? Is it Drunkenor? Not really. Drunkenor. It can be what you want it to be. Beekeeping is expensive, he's saying. Yes, one of the people. It can be. It can be.
It can be. I've understood, what I've heard recently is that if you have top bar hives, which we have not tried,
right,
it can be incredibly less expensive,
right?
Because you have one V-shaped hive that runs horizontally. You don't have to buy all the boxes,
right?
And you just get a lot of frames, and apparently it's easier to manage. We just haven't done it because it's not standard, and we're still getting the lay of the land. We're only in our 4th year, so we're not experts.
Okay. They get buckets of rain here, and my bees drowned. I was not prepared for the rain. He came from South Carolina. He wasn't used to the rain.
This is Argentina?
Yeah, he went to Argentina, and his bees drowned.
Did his bees drown in the hive?
I don't know. Did the water come up? Did the water rain? Okay, rain in the winter. Oh, rain in the winter.
Okay, it's important to know, did the water level rise to flood your hive?
Yeah. Okay.
Or did rain seep through cracks into your hive?
Yeah, what? Did you have your hives up off of the ground, like up on bricks or something? Because I did not. Oh, okay. That's him. I used queen pheromone to attract swarms and wild bees in South Carolina to get free bees. Right. Yeah. That was for a swarm. I can't remember the smell right now. The essential oil. It's a very popular
lemongrass.
Lemongrass
is one of it. Also,
is one of them that will bring.
There's also something you can buy called Swarm Commander that
right.
a lot of people say is better.
I wonder, since a swarm is centered around a queen bee, they leave the queen and just come to your hive. That's very interesting. He used the pheromones to attract swarms.
Whatever works.
Whatever works. That's interesting. Yeah. I never thought of that.
Did we get an answer on the water?
Yeah, we'll do it. What happened with the water, Jim? Did they come up to the level of your bees, your beehives? You can build them up like on, we use building blocks. I don't know if you go to our,
let me just give them some
answers.
Go ahead. Okay. If your hives were too low and you've got intermittent flooding, you've got to raise your hives or move them to another spot. If, on the other hand, your hives were up off the ground and you had lots of rain, if the water floods into the hive, one of the things to get the hive to drain is you want to tip it forward 1 inch so that any water that gets into the hive through a crack or something drains out the front. So those are two things. If they drowned because of the rain and they were flying in it, that doesn't set. Bees won't fly in the rain usually. So
That's true.
so those are the two ways that you could deal with too much water for the bees.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely they can't swim for very long.
No, our hives are tilted forward.
Yeah.
So any water that gets in there is going to go out. We were almost paranoid. I mean, just so exacting about the way we set up our hives, you know, with the direction. I don't know, they're south.
Southeast.
You know, we have them all. We have them. We
South
read,
and southeast.
all the books. We have them that way. We did all these things because we didn't want to lose any. And even so, I don't know, Jim, how long you were beekeeping. When you start, you're going to blow away some hives. I mean, you might be lucky. Like what just boggled my mind was we go to our beekeeping meetings, and that's something else. I don't know if they have beekeeping clubs over there. They probably do in Australia.
Australia?
Not Australia. Where's the other?
Argentina?
Argentina.
Okay.
Wherever you are, honey. They might have clubs. And there's young kids are in there, like 20, 18, and their bees are sailing through the winter and everything is fine, where, you know, us older people, we're doing everything by the book and they're just dying, you know. So, but it's good to talk amongst people like that to find out what's going on with their bees. It works and attracts swarms from the local trees. Yeah. So I'm going to work on that for you, Chief Jim. But your spring is when? I don't know when their spring is.
September.
September.
To
Okay.
December.
All right. But to whoever said beekeeping was expensive. Oh boy. We didn't know anything about Prepping Ohio. We didn't know anything about beekeeping. Just happened to read for 2 years, waiting for my husband to retire, and we started a year before. Oh, it rains here, sideways at 80 miles per hour. Oh yeah, we lost the hive to that, Jim. One of our hives went in the wind, just blew over. And we have bricks on top of them, sideways. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it must have gone in his hive then.
It just stayed saturated and perished from the damp and cold.
What time of year?
I think he said winter.
If it's damp and cold.
No clubs here. I've been keeping for 15 years. Oh, okay. Yeah, it would be.
If it's damp and cold, you need to wrap your hive in the winter.
Do you wrap your hive in the winter? Like we put, I'm sure you've seen them, those, who wants to know how much it would cost to get started? We'll be right with you, Prepping Ohio. We have these black boxes. What are they made of?
Cardboard. Waxed.
Waxed
On the
cardboard
outside.
on the outside, waxed on the outside.
Mm.
And they go over our hives to protect them from the cold. And we all, we just know the cold is coming. So I don't know if that's a practice.
A lot of the people up here,
Yeah.
is this Jim?
Jim, yeah.
Yeah, Jim, a lot of people up here, and I haven't gotten this right yet, build wind blocks, basically, for their hives. Even if they've got brush and trees nearby, they'll put up stakes and tie plywood to them so that they have windbreaks around their hives. I guess you can do it if you don't have too many, or if you have a lot of sets of plywood, or some other material. Can be anything, plastic, anything that breaks the force of the wind. That might help you. It wouldn't stop the rain, but it would stop the wind driving it directly into the cracks in your hives if you don't get some kind of, you know, protection on the outside.
Yeah, he said he's seeing that some of the beekeepers there have their hives under a shed. Yeah,
A shed,
under
yeah.
shed roofs.
Yeah. So that's one of the things. If you've got beekeepers that are successful in your area, you want to look at what they're doing, because there's a reason they're doing it. And if their hives are surviving, then they're doing the right thing.
As far as cost, I'm answering.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we are in a position. Well, we were both. Well, I don't know. Take that off the table. If you're handy, okay, with wood, you can make your own hives. That's one thing. Okay.
That's true, and you can also buy them. If you're handy, you can buy them in pieces and put them together.
Right.
They're disassembled. That cuts the cost dramatically.
Right. You just get them in pieces and put them together. We get a lot of our stuff from eBay, like the suits, which are not too bad. You don't want to cheap out on your bee suit. To me, that's the main thing. You don't want to go down there in not a structured bee suit. So, but I don't know anything about wintering hives in top bar. So whoever, I think it was Duncan or what have you. If you can check on wintering with a top hive, and if you can do it, that's the cheapest way to go as far as expense with that.
Right, and you can Google top bar hives,
Yeah.
winterizing, and so on, and you'll probably come up with page after page of suggestions, because the top bar hive group has unique needs and experience and knowledge.
Right. I don't know if I would. I guess I would want to try that, but first I'd want to see just how you do it, and if they would survive the winter. I know here in the north, I'll tell you, we don't even think about packages because they don't fare well in the north. Whereas in the south, you can just get a package of bees and everything's hunky-dory. Up here, we use nukes, and for those of you who don't know, a nuke is 5 frames in a little hive. It has a couple frames of honey, some worker bees, some brood, a queen, pollen to get it going, just to get it going. And in fact, when we have an overflow of bees, we make up nukes. We have 3 down there now that are kind of an experiment to see how it's going. Thought about building my own. Yes, prepping, building your own. We're not into that. I mean, we have a lot to take care of here. You know, the kids all went south to get away from the snow and left us here with all this stuff.
Something else about top bar. Excuse me. There's a site that Honeybee Sweet, HoneyBeeSuite, Sweet. That's website. The person that runs that does have information on top bars, and I think he or she has one themselves. So you might try going there. There is a question answer piece there, and they archive a lot of discussions. So there's a lot of information on the website, really a lot. So that might help you.
Right. And it's not too bad to feed them. It's sugar and water. Now we put Honeybee Good or Honeybee Healthy in there, which is basically essential oils and stuff for them, you know.
And then pollen patties to give them protein.
Patties, yeah. But our bees have to get up and going because we don't have a lot of time for them to get up and going because of the winter. And we have to have roaring hives. for the winter. They're not roaring by the time the winter comes. We might even have to merge some because it takes a lot of bees to get through the winter. We can explain what they do in the winter. I don't know if I know Jim knows, but when it gets cold, what they do and how we pack them up.
Well, you've got to get, the reason you have to have enough bees is you have to have enough bees to swarm, to make a cluster, because the bees maintain a temperature of 92 to 93 degrees inside the center of their cluster, and that's where the queen is. She has to be protected at all costs because she's sitting there with millions of eggs inside of her waiting for the next season. So the bees take turns heating the core of this, or heating the cluster. It's generally a football shape of bees packed together in the hive. The bees on the outside unhook their wings from their wing muscles, from their wing muscles. They actually unhook them and shiver their wing muscles, and you've got all these bees. They're engorged with honey at that point, so they're using up their stores. They shiver and create heat, and they can keep the internal to 92 or 93 degrees. Then when they get exhausted, they move toward the center of the core, and the other bees that are energetic move to the outside and repeat the same process. They do this all winter. So and of course, during this time, some bees will die, especially if you have disease or mites and they've been weakened. That's where you want to go in with a really strong hive that's healthy. And you need lots of honey so they can feed off of it. So you're going to lose some bees, but you need that minimum size to be able to keep the warmth in the middle and heat all the bees. So it's that's what they do. Then they move up through the hive. Usually they start toward the bottom. If you've got, let's say, 2 deeps, or deep and 3 supers filled with honey, pollen, and bees, they move up. They eat the pollen and honey at the bottom, mainly the honey, and then they move up. And of course, when they create heat, the heat moves up and it warms the honey above them. So as long as part of the group can reach honey, they can feed it, they can pass it via their mouths to other bees. So so if there's a frame of honey near the edge of the core of the group, they can pass honey to the others. So they keep moving up, and if they move up to the top and they're out of honey, then you've got a crisis if you're not taking little peeks at your hives when it's, say, 40 degrees or above in the winter, which I don't know what that is in centigrade. If you don't take peeks at them, they can starve to death. And the way you know they starve to death is if you open the hive in the spring,
they're dead.
And you have honey. And all the bees, all you see is bee butts sticking out of the honeycomb. It means they were all in the bottom of each honeycomb trying to find honey. Yeah. And you see all these butts sticking out, the bee behind sticking out, and you know they died of starvation, which is it's a terrible thing to see.
The thing about June says that the beekeepers there are secretive. Now, June.
Secretive?
Yes.
Where?
I don't know where she is. We're not secretive, but
they're secretive? It must be they have secret nectar and pollen sources. Maybe they're producing fantastic honey.
Yes. I would know 2 reasons for that, June. Number 1, Okay, some beekeepers compete in like the state fair and different contests and stuff. The lighter the honey, the more valuable the honey is. Okay, so oh, I'm sorry, June. Oh, it's not complex. What is his name? No, what he's saying. I never knew any of those things. No, it's not complex. Is it Drunkenon or I don't know. Someone give me that. It's not complex. We raised 3 children. It's not as complex, anywhere near as complex as that. Two things I would say about people being very secretive. The lighter the honey, the more valuable it is. And I know one woman who only uses swarms, and she wins, and she's been winning first prize for her honey every single year. It's just like a really light tea color. It's almost pure. Remember I showed you? I mean, you can see through this honey. And she only uses swarms, but she won't tell you where her hives are for where, because of, how can I say? Ask about what that is. Because of what they're eating, foraging on, stuff like that. You know, who cares? But some of them are really secretive about their locations. Flow hives, I have to find out what that is. Another reason is you may have seen in the news, some people are stealing hives.
We just got a guy in California. Yeah. He had $1 million worth of hives.
How do they say it's $1 million worth of hives? How many had he? You mean they went to his place and saw how many there were?
They had codes stamped into them from other beekeepers.
Into the hives?
Yeah, some beekeepers. In Florida, for example, you're required to brand your hives. So you brand them with your particular, whatever it may be, your initials or something. And apparently out there in the almond groves, because theft is now becoming an issue, especially in the West, they're marking their hives. They're either branding them or they're putting indelible marks on them.
Beekeeping to rent out your hives. Something you may or may not hear on the news is there aren't enough honeybees in this country to fertilize, to pollinate all of our fruits and vegetables. Therefore, taking your bees around on a flatbed is big business. I mean, these guys have hundreds and thousands of hives, and they start in California with the almond crop. That's one there. They don't have very few hives out there. And then they go up to Maine for the blueberries, things like that. But keep in mind, I personally think that is causing a lot of stress on the bees. I don't think they're supposed to be drug all around like that. Yeah, June, stealing hives is really bad. I don't know how they must know what they're doing in order to get away with it.
Yeah, it's becoming a business now, like black market. It's really bad.
It's really bad.
People are suffering tremendous losses.
Yeah. 2 questions. Someone, Benny G is saying in Australia, we have beehives everywhere. Right. The United States used to purchase a large amount of the beehives from Australia until they cut that out. Okay. And something else she said, which was very interesting, was a flow hive. She says, friends of mine have purchased flow hives. What is a flow hive?
A flow hive is something relatively new, where you set it up and the honey flows out automatically. I've seen some pro and cons on it. Some people hate them, some people like them.
Now I know what they mean.
It takes the honey out automatically. Yeah. It's relatively new in the last few years.
So, as getting back to the expense, because a lot of people are, I'm afraid of bees, or they're expensive. Tapar, Let's see what else. Oh no, distilling is illegal, but when you're making mead, if he's talking about mead, you're not really distilling, I don't think.
Well,
Are you? You're letting it ferment.
it's like making, it's like a wine.
Yeah, but you don't have
And then
to
you're
put
fermenting.
it in a still. Yeah.
No, well, I actually I don't know how you do it, but you're fermenting you're fermenting the honey.
If Jim is still here, he can attest to this. I fermented some honey by error several years ago. I put it in plastic. And you never want to store your. We ran out of jars and stuff. I put it in plastic, and then we had honey that had a lot of moisture in it. And if your honey has a lot of moisture in it, like before you spin your frames, you're supposed to shake it, and if there's moisture coming out.
Well, that's if you have if it's uncapped.
If it's uncapped, you don't want that because that'll cause your honey to ferment. Let's see, do bumblebees make honey?
Yes, but very small portions.
Yeah.
Contrary to a honeybee, which you want to have at least 60,000 bees at the peak of your summer, bumblebees produce only 50 to 300 in their hive, which is usually in wood. It's, like a little tree or whatever. And she only has enough honey in a little pool by her to feed her brood. So they do not make enough where it can be harvested by anybody else. And they have nothing over the winter. Only the queen, I think, only the queen survives. The rest of them die. Something like that. But yeah, they're small. Only max 300 compared to 60,000 honeybees. So they just don't have the volume. They're a very small operation.
Back to the flow hives. My question on that, or my concern about that, would be if the honey's coming right out and you have these in the winter, what are you going to do with the hives in the winter? If you don't have frames of honey, maybe they only do some of them.
Maybe they only do some of them. I've never looked into it to really learn that much.
Yeah. A lot of people get into bees because, and it's not a bad thing, but it's like, oh, we got to get honey, we got to get honey, we got to get honey. And there's nothing wrong with that. But, and maybe Jim, you can put some input on this. It's, I understand that people want regular honey because the honey that you buy in the store, unless you go to like a farmer's market or something and get it from Joe Blow's apiary or something like that, that honey's coming from China. And you don't want to know what they do with their honey.
Yeah, they're putting chemicals.
You don't want to know what they do with their honey.
Do not buy honey that's made outside the U.S.
Okay. What kind of bees do we have?
Okay. We have some Italians. We have mainly Carniolians. Those two, and those are the most common in the Northeast.
We have a northern down there, some northerns.
We do have what they are calling northern queens from Better Bee, I think.
Yeah.
Northern queens that are bred for hygienic northerns.
Right.
It's getting so mixed up, though, you don't really know what their genetic heritage is.
Right.
But usually there's a bit of Italian and a bit of Carniolian in them. Sometimes Russian, although some people don't like Russians because they're more aggressive.
This person is saying 1.5 kg of honey purchased on the side of the road is $17.
1.5 kilograms?
Yeah. I don't know. Is that high? I don't know.
See, I can't. I don't know what kilograms is to pounds.
Yeah.
So I can't make a match on that. Kilograms is 1,000 grams. Yeah,
no.
I don't know. We're going to have to get a table. We're going to have to get a conversion table here because this is for a small group. This is international.
You can, Rob Peter, yes. Jim is saying always 2 hives. That's true.
Minimal.
Minimal. We were ambitious and we started with 10. And we have only blown away as many as 4. I mean, we went through a cycle. Anything that can happen, just about anything. Losing them in the winter, we did that, and
we've lost hives everywhere.
Yeah, but we're doing pretty good compared to some people here. But you know, 3.3 pounds, 3.3 pounds of honey. It is. Thank you.
3 pounds. That is inexpensive.
Yeah, it is.
That's not a bad price.
Well, they have a lot of bees over there. He said. Let's see. I am not experienced with flow hives other than what I was just seeing. Well, Jim, basically with a flow hive, as they're making the honey, from what I understand, as they're making the honey, you're taking the honey. Now, again, it's going to go up to when you talk to the people over there where you are now and find out how they pack their bees away for the winter. If they're going to give frames of honey to their bees, then you may want to have a setup so that you'll have some frames for them. However, a pack of cigarettes is $43? Oh my goodness. German black bees here. They have those German black.
German blacks, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, we've heard of those. We're not even allowed now to bring in bees from Canada and vice versa. We share a lot of information back and forth across the border, but we can't even do that. Countries are kind of clamping down on where their bees are going, except the African bees, which are all over the place, it seems. They're, I believe they're in Florida, Mexico. They're in Mexico.
African bees did merge north from Brazil, where they started. They've gone through Central America, through Mexico. They're into the southern part of the United States. They're in Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Florida. They're as far north as North Carolina. But because of the winters so far, they have not progressed any further. So the top half of the country, they're not in. And people are praying that they don't become, they don't evolve so they can handle the cold. Their entire genetic disposition is based on their very hot climate that, that they originated from.
Vinny is saying he used to work for Cadbury, and the amount of honey that they required was astronomical. What do they make that you need so much honey? Cadbury, isn't that chocolate?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some things I'm wondering? Son just came in. There he goes. I'm interested. What would Cadbury be making?
Using it as a sweetener.
Confectionery, like I wonder what they're making. Part-time Penny says his beekeeping neighbors hate flow hives. Got no specifics other than I think it's something to do with taking too much honey and destroying the comb. Yeah. And Jim says we feed bees over winter here. What do you feed them, Jim? It could be, honey log nougat bars. Interesting. I don't know if we have those.
Who's in Australia?
Jim, he's saying they feed their bees over the winter.
Jim, are you familiar with Manuka honey? It's supposed to be, now they're saying it's the most valuable honey in the world. It's made in New Zealand.
Oh.
Manuka.
Sorry, part-time. Part-time's a she. Sorry, part-time.
Okay,
Yeah.
or she, whoever.
She, yeah. Jim, do they have Manuka? Honey. No African bees in where he is.
That's good.
Yeah, that's fascinating to talk to somebody over there. He says they feed their bees over the winter. First thing, Jim, you have to deal with the water. Okay. Okay. Thanks, part-time. You have to deal with the water. Once you're done with the water problem, and probably putting them up and protecting them, and maybe even under something if that's
I'm wondering if they're dying not of, if your hive wasn't flooded, going back to the water, I'm wondering if they're dying from condensation.
He says they have African hornets and yellow jackets here that kill the honeybees.
Oh, yeah.
Usually, if your hive is strong enough, they'll kill that stuff. I don't know if you were here last week when my husband was saying how a little mouse, up here we have a thing with mice going into the hives and bees killing them. But your biggest defense against a lot of that stuff is a really roaring hive. And
yeah, the Asian or the Japanese hornet is something that's, there's a little bit in the United States and people are worried about it. We haven't seen them here, but they're huge. Yeah. And they can, if it's a weak hive, they can actually wipe it out. But there have been, somebody saw where this Japanese hornet tried to attack a hive. Mm-hmm. The hive was very strong. The bees surrounded it.
Yeah.
And by using their muscles that they create heat with, they burned it to death. So they overheated the hornet and killed it.
Yeah.
So it's just like dolphins can attack and kill a shark because they can move their heads as fast as a pneumatic drill. Bees do have methods.
I will say
to
this.
Fight.
Yeah, and then we have to go because it's 9:02. But
sorry, we're too late.
Vinny G is saying Australia Manuka honey is really expensive. They're basically for therapeutic only. Okay, yes. Great to see everybody.
Yeah, we're
glad you stopped by, but we're going off to Simply 7 Living.
Yes.
Okay, so don't forget.
Thank you. We didn't have a question tonight.
No, maybe next week.
So remember, be happy, and keeping bees is sweet.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Simply 7 Living. Bye.